This had better work.
He's alive.
Alive.
And yummy.
I'm online, hungry for vengeance against a certain flying toaster, and more than a smidge horny.
Welcome back to Region Free, the show where we're going to attack Minecraft for 90 minutes or so.
Hell
And then finally crowbar in the topics that we had planned. How is everyone tonight?
Doing good, doing good. Looking forward to the rants and the rage.
Can't complain.
I think there's been a lot of good reasons to have some rage recently.
Oh.
But before we get to that, anyone seen anything good?
I have
What have you seen?
Parvulos, which is a Mexican horror film.
Sounds like an ABBA song, though, right?
It does kind of. Parvulos, Children of the Apocalypse. You may or may, well, Lauren, I know you know a film if you don't know the director's name, but Isaac Esban, who did a movie called The Similars, maybe 6 or 7 years ago that I know you're a fan of.
Big fan.
Yeah.
That's its own episode that got turned into a feature-length episode, basically.
I know you're not keen on a lot of American films being made today, and this is a zombie movie, I guess, if you want to call it that, but it is a zombie film that would not be made in the U.S. It breaks an awful lot of taboos. It is gut-wrenching in an emotional way. It's not hordes of zombies or anything like that. If you're looking for, Walking Dead or, big epic battles with the infected, that's not what this movie is. When the violence hits, it hits hard. Nobody's safe. It's emotionally devastating. It's a really good movie. Had a very limited theatrical, so at this point, I think anybody that didn't see it's probably going to be waiting for VOD, but it deserves to be seen. I loved it a lot, and I highly recommend it. Since we last recorded, another one I will throw out, dystopian sci-fi, The Assessment, which is fantastic. It's unfortunately not getting the screens or the attention Minecraft is getting, but there is some really good shit out there that you should check out.
So your assessment of The Assessment is that people should assess it for themselves.
They should assess it for themselves. Yes.
Understandable.
One to watch if you're planning to have kids.
Then I'm never going to see it, am I?
Yeah, well, you'll laugh at most of it, so.
Okay, good. Is it a good comedy like The Coffee Table?
Great comedy like The Coffee Table.
Cool. Anyone else see anything good or bad or?
I've been wanting to. Well, I mean, I haven't been to the theater since January. We'll get into Minecraft and all the bullshit there, but if I was going to go see a movie right now, it would be Warfare, directed by Alex Garland and also an Iraqi war veteran. And it's supposed to be pretty awesome. Otherwise, I'm probably going to wait till Final Destination, which comes out next month. But unfortunately, there's been nothing in the theater I've been interested in. But I do intend to see wrestling fans. I want all wrestling fans to know I am going to see Queen of the Ring very soon.
As you should. I still need to see that too.
Yes.
I did not get to see that in the theater, but Todd tells me it's better than you would think. So, yeah.
Okay. I was surprised. Stone told me it was 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that.
Something like that.
Which, I guess if you're going to make the Mildred Burke movie, you just get in as much as you possibly can because you're never going to get another chance.
Yep.
I guess we almost made 5 minutes without a wrestling reference.
Look, do you understand? Dude, next week is WrestleMania.
Yes.
You cannot escape. You cannot escape wrestling references currently.
See,
You
this
like
is-
the Santo films, right,
This
Lauren?
is,
I mean,
this is what. Yeah, they have nothing to do with wrestling. This is what happens when Easter end falls on 420.
Yep, Easter, 420, WrestleMania,
This
full
is a
moon.
recipe for families everywhere to just disseminate into like a bunch of people screaming at each other in their houses.
Yes.
About something.
Fire up the bongs, scorch the, and then just watch some wrestling. Yeah.
All right, I gotta ask opinions on Easter candy because I feel like Easter candy is really solid, and I think it goes like for me, it goes Halloween, Easter, Christmas as far as candies go. So, what y'all think?
I can't eat marshmallow peeps. I think
That's fine. They're
there's
kind
so
of
many flavors now.
I'm not a Peeps fan either.
I feel
I
like I'm
love
gonna
me
get.
some jelly beans though, but I mean real jelly beans, not nice jelly beans. Not
Yeah.
this fucking like fuck Jelly Bellies and all this nice stuff. When I was a kid, the jelly beans were about the size of your fist. Okay,
Mhm.
they crumbled into dust because they were made in 1948 and they haven't made any since. They tasted like rubber and we liked it and it was good.
Are you a licorice guy?
I'm so I you're talking black licorice, obviously.
Yeah.
You wouldn't ask that about any other flavor of licorice.
Twizzlers, yeah.
So I'd say like give me a small amount of black licorice and I really enjoy it. Give me a lot of black licorice and I probably am going to strangle you with some of it.
What about circus peanuts? Not an Easter candy, but I'm curious now.
So this is there, right? So circus peanut, if unmolested, because there's people that heat them up and do other things to them. And I will tell you that over, like if you put them on a stick and put them over a fire, that's amazing.
Ooh.
But it is. But unmolested, just in their raw form, everyone likes a circus peanut. The problem is you can't buy a circus peanut. You buy a bag of circus peanuts. And about the third one in, you start to become the circus peanut. You feel like it is overcoming your substance on a molecular level, like the thing. It's not a pleasant experience once you get past like circus peanut number 2.
Oh, do you want to stop?
But you could also use, but here's the thing though, you can eat one and then use the rest as packing peanuts. So it's fine.
Okay. Well, if you molest the circus peanuts, how many circus peanuts can you eat? However many in the package, or is there a limit on molested circus peanuts?
I actually know someone.
I don't fuck my food. I don't know. This is very.
No, we're saying molest.
Bullshit, you don't, and that's why your dates don't go well. But so I know people who make casseroles out of circus peanuts. So I might not be the one to ask about.
I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Well, use marshmallows for certain casseroles, and they just.
Oh my god, a sweet potato casserole with circus peanuts on top?
I think I sold you on an idea.
I'm not. Oh, absolutely not. I don't
It
like
might
sweet
be
potato
good.
casserole. So I like sweet potatoes, but like as French fries or occasionally in a chili if I'm feeling adventurous, even though that's very counterintuitive to chili.
Okay, Jacob here just won the night, by the way, just because he's correct.
Yes.
Fuck Twizzlers.
I don't mind either, but that's like the last thing I think I buy if I have other options. I don't know.
That's true.
Like Twizzlers, they're good. Just I don't know.
Hey, Jess.
Yes.
Hey.
Everyone out there who's waiting for Jess's triumphant return, she promises it's coming soon. Let me tell you something. This girl has had a tough couple months, but a couple days ago things started turning around for her. So you know what?
Good to hear.
Nothing but love. You know, I'm glad things are starting to turn around. Get back with us when you can.
Yes.
Please, it's a sausage party like every month.
It used to be worse. The show used to be named after that fact. Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I played a small role in fixing that.
Literal sausage party back then.
Yeah.
All the sausage. Yep.
Someday that feature-length documentary that's been suppressed that tells the full story of the sausage factory and early days of Region Free will be released. Right after we find the spider pit sequence from King Kong and London After Midnight.
I have one more question about Easter candy. Cadbury mini eggs. I think they slap, but I can't really. Not the Cadbury cream eggs. Cadbury cream eggs, I can eat one a year and that's it. The mini eggs, which they have the candy coating. pretty lovely, but again, it's kind of like a once a year type deal where it's like you wouldn't necessarily eat them outside of the Easter season.
I don't like. First of all, I'm not a big chocolate guy, but I have issues with putting aluminum foil just around chocolate. It's not actually sealed, and I always have like one piece that didn't quite come off, and I'm worried I'm going to choke on it or I'm going to ingest it.
That's fair.
So I'm very wary of that whole process.
Well,
I once ate a marble.
Well, the little eggs come in the plastic packaging. There's no foil on the little
Is it?
ones. Yeah. It's like the Cadbury cream eggs that have the foil. And sometimes they have smaller versions of those Cadbury cream eggs, but these just have a nice like candy coating on the outside. And it's like the chocolate just hits different. And I mean, I can't really describe it unless you've tried it, you'd understand. Like it's not quite, it doesn't have that little like zing in it. I'm way too philosophical about this.
Does everyone else get strangely like enraptured when you go into your CVS or your Rite Aid or your Walgreens and you go over to their seasonal candy section and they have Russell Stover candies it's either caramel or marshmallow covered in chocolate, but every season they just make it into a different shape.
Yeah,
right?
Reese's does the same.
Yeah, but it's a weird thing because this is not something that could exist outside of being a seasonal candy, right? But it's every season.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for them to do like Arbor Day, St. Swithin's Day,
Groundhog Day. Just have like a big peanut butter chocolate groundhog.
President's Day, but they're going to do presidents like Taft, Grover Cleveland,
Woodrow Wilson.
Oh no one's buying that.
Chester Allen Arthur.
Chester Allen Arthur. I also had this idea.
Never thought we'd get a Chester Allen Arthur reference on Region Free.
We're raising our game. That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
bringing in all the Chester A. Arthur fans out there.
I solidly think there should be an action figure line. I don't buy action figures, but I would buy a line of action figures that would be unsuccessful presidential candidates. But I don't mean not recent though. I want people who tried and just couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
It's very clear that we're trying to spend as much time as humanly possible before talking about Minecraft, right?
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Minecraft.
So, do you want to start with something positive before you get into it?
Do you have something positive?
One positive thing I will say for it. I haven't seen it. Zero plans to see it. Looks like the dumbest shit imaginable. But I will say this. I've been to the movies. I go to the movies every week. The last 2 weeks, I have not seen a movie theater as crowded as it is now in a while, in a good long while. So
is that good
to make money? So
let me play devil's advocate on this, and not in the way you're expecting.
Yeah.
So I get depressed when I go to shopping malls and they're not real and they're kind of dead. There's not a lot of people rolling around them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But would it be better if there was flesh-eating zombies all around you in the shopping mall, or that you were alone? I think that simply being busier is not necessarily a good thing. I don't want these 14-year-old boys, these motherfuckers, these assholes, showing up to the movies when I'm there. I just don't.
Yep.
They're disruptive. They're acting like assholes. Their parents are nowhere to be found. And I suspect not just at the movie theater, but in their lives. Because at the point where you're letting 5 or 6 of these motherfuckers roll around your town and go get high and go see the movie, you're not doing the parenting thing. And the baiting of this, like, this is the perfect worm on the hook for these kids, like Minecraft. It's an open world game, like where you could do whatever you wanted. That's kind of the concept, right? So how can you make a film of it to begin with? And then you make a movie and they actually show up to laugh at memes that they get for free on their phone.
You know, it's just kind of weird because it's like usually you go to the movies because like you want to escape your current life, but you're actually just escaping into a simulacrum. But then this simulacrum is an open world idea, which is like, isn't that essentially life too, though?
Yeah. I just, I'm glad movie theaters are hypothetically making money, but they don't make much on ticket sales. They don't. They make it off of concessions. Maybe the kids are buying candy, spilling it all over the theaters. Then the employees have to go pick it up because there's actual. It's like Rocky Horror without manners, right? Yeah. There's points where they're actually just tearing up the theaters in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's not okay. If you haven't seen this, guys, before you're all positive and say yay theaters, I guarantee everyone who works in those theaters hates these kids and what they're doing way more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
What's the worst of the stories revolving around this Minecraft madness?
Live chickens.
Yeah, the live chicken shit bothers the hell out of me. Because it's like, if that, again, like, I would not hesitate to slap a motherfucker down if that was going on anywhere in my vicinity. I would be like, give me that fucking chicken. You are not responsible enough to have it.
Yeah, you are kind of putting the chicken in danger in that.
Yeah, case. You're traumatizing that thing. Like
they just let the chicken loose in the theater?
They're bringing chickens. They're bringing all sorts of crazy shit. And I feel like the way to shut that down, I'll walk in there, I'll quote Devil's Rejects, is like, y'all gonna fuck that chicken? And then just watch it go quiet.
Damn. But I wouldn't encourage them. Honestly, I feel like beating them half to death would be more useful. Because that's a real fast way to learn.
I'm coming to the conclusion, and I know this will probably piss somebody off, and I'm not directing it at anybody that falls under this, but I think just about anybody under the age of 25, I think they're devolving into something else. Like, I can't even really communicate with them anymore. I'm not that old. I'm not even 40 yet, believe it or not, with this gray beard. But I don't know. I think they're devolving into some sort of like, I don't know what the fuck. I just don't like it.
It's called idiocracy. Mike Judge was right.
I think it could actually come true if it hasn't already.
Yes.
I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it at all. And again, there needs to be money made on these things. God, I wish it was something else. But I think it is telling that that's what it is. On the bright side, I'm told I look a lot like Jack Black. So this is the face, the Hollywood.
You'll get as many teenage boys as you want.
To be fair, Jack Black copied your look with the graying beard. So
yeah.
Very rude of him. I think he owes royalties.
Yeah. No aging man has ever
asylum hat
before.
God damn.
I know. Like, seriously, like if Jack Black decides to keep rocking that gray beard and then starts wearing a hat around, oh, that's gonna be real fucking weird.
I had to come for him at that point.
I seriously thought, and several, maybe 10 years ago, I thought we reached a low point in cinema when I read that they were making a movie based on the Candyland board game. Now that kind of disappeared somewhere along the way, but Minecraft, I think it's taken its place.
The real problem, though, outside the audience, which is, I mean, listen, these people, you said below a certain age. I think it's below the intellect of Pet Rock, but it doesn't matter. The real problem is that Hollywood's learning a really bad lesson. They're going to take to heart the idea that dumb is what your audience is, and how to make money off dumb is to appeal to nostalgia from 5 minutes ago, not 20 years ago, 5 minutes ago, and to just put the most ridiculous crap on screen. And in a vacuum, as a one-off, it probably is not a bad thing. But if you think that every studio didn't just greenlight something completely challenged, you're wrong. They did. It's $160 million in 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else is going to make that kind of money. I mean, we made a big deal about Barbie and Oppenheimer last year or the year before, whenever that was.
2 years ago. Can you believe that?
Right?
Yeah.
This thing is going to eclipse both of them.
Yeah.
This is $1 billion property, and it's also going to lead to more of its type.
Well,
millennial and under shit film.
We had the Emoji movie.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
My nephew.
Yeah.
Ooh, like again, kids movie, and I know that's what people will counter with. Well, it's meant for kids, and I was like, I get it, but it was a different level of stupid, in my opinion. Maybe again, I wasn't the biggest cartoon watcher. I was always kind of the horror kid, but the stuff that I did see, I don't feel was as dumb as the stuff coming out now.
Yeah, like I can't really say movie wise, but I will give like a little bit of positivity here. So if anybody that has HBO Max, like go watch Jellystone if you want a good kids cartoon, because that was the showrunner on that is the guy that did Chowder, which I've never seen, but Jellystone is fucking hilarious. And the jokes are fine for kids, right? There's nothing like inappropriate, but has all these throwbacks to old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And it's funny because it's like, I'll watch Chris because he's like a Hanna-Barbera encyclopedia. And then like, I'll see, I'll be watching a scene and I don't recognize anybody, but it'll pop the shit out of him. And it's great. But, so definitely go watch that if you need something that's, a little bit, a less annoying kids cartoon.
I'll throw out Flow. I thought Flow was fantastic. I
haven't seen that one yet. Yeah, that looked beautiful.
Flow. What's the new movie? The Marion Max guys. I'm spacing on it right now, but there is good kid fare out there.
Yes. Paddington in Peru.
Yeah, you know what? I've not seen that, obviously, but I've been told by several people it's like very good kids movie. Apparently, the first one was even better. So there's options for kids out there, I think. Yeah.
Just movie-wise, they kind of suck. Like, nobody wants a fucking Snow White remake.
No. Well, yeah, I guess if we're talking big hits, we got to say
that bombed so badly. I mean, when I saw the trailer, I was thinking, okay, so I'm supposed to fall in love with this little boy rather than this hot-ass evil queen. What the
God, you're terrible, though.
But the Snow White thing is just transparently about being able to merchandise products into the future using existing IPs. They made a movie because they need to make a movie.
It's a Fantastic Four situation.
Well, but it's about products. It's about coloring books and T-shirts. It's about retaining some semblance of control over the material look of those characters when you're going to lose the rights to the general property.
Mm-hmm.
So, I get it. They could have done something good with it. That would be nice, but
why would they do that? I'm
not convinced that it's the studio heads that are actually the problem. I think there might be a generation of writers that are being encouraged to write badly. And it's not even like I'm not even worried about the casting choices or anything like that, to be honest with you, because people, you guys seem to be okay when they put Nicole Kidman in movies, so clearly I'm the one that has a problem with how films are cast to begin with. But I am concerned just that the level of writing is really poor. And now maybe the songs are great because maybe there's some great songwriters involved, but the general level of writing that's going on in Hollywood movies is pretty dire. And I don't mean like a dire wolf that was just brought back from extinction. No one's bringing this shit back.
Yeah. I know that there's also just like a lot of manufactured outrage about fucking Snow White. And it's like, it's not any of this shit. It's that nobody fucking cares about Snow White as a story. Nobody gives a shit. That's why it fucking bombed. But hey, man, whatever. The YouTube grifters got to get their money and make one of their little outrage thumbnails about it.
Yeah, but you want to know what the scary thing is? We've all watched our share of it. So that's the problem. Mm-hmm. So, whatever. I'm never going to see a Disney film again in my life, most likely. So they didn't lose anything by making something that doesn't appeal to me. So I can't criticize them on this thing too hard because I'm not the audience.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the last Disney movie I saw was. It's been years now.
Wasn't it The Journey of Natty Gann? We just watched that.
Well, yeah, but I've seen that before. I mean, I like a new Disney movie. Like I haven't seen probably since the Pete's Dragon remake.
The Cat from Outer Space. We need to
The
go
Drag-
back.
I want to watch.
Well, How to Train Your Dragon isn't Disney though.
No,
No, Pete's
Buffalo.
Dragon.
Oh, Pete's Dragon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they did a remake of Pete's Dragon, which
Yeah, I do fucking love the hell out of How to Train Your Dragon because it's patterned after the movements of a cat.
Yeah. Well, apparently the live action remake is a shot per shot straight remake,
I mean,
and that's probably the way to go.
I'll eventually watch it, but not in a theater. It's not going to be high on my priorities list. But I do really enjoy the animated movies.
Cool.
They're very cute.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Screamboat. Does that count?
What the fuck is Screamboat?
The Mickey Mouse slasher
Oh,
film.
fuck that.
I'm
He's actual scale in that.
zero interest in any of those projects.
none of those. There's like 3 Popeye movies that are now horror films, like Popeye slasher movies. What? Seriously, am I wrong?
Yeah, there's more. They're moving ahead big time on the public domain stuff.
I'm surprised they haven't done that to Wizard of Oz yet.
Oh, they have. They've done Wizard of Oz stuff. There's a lot more coming, though. I think Donald Duck might be coming up for public domain.
Okay, that would be a hot mess. I'm kind of there for Donald Duck, but as long as they have the voice. I need the Donald Duck voice.
It's going to be David Howard Thornton, and I don't know. They might do a different voice. That'll probably be
what? Is that confirmed?
No. I'm just Nostradamus right now.
Okay, please don't give me a heart attack like that.
That's just my feeling. I think it's going to probably be him. That's like his thing now. He's the silent killer, whether it's comedy, horror. David Howard Thornton. That's like
the mime training paid off so well.
I've enjoyed some of these films for what they are. So they're not all.
Yeah, I mean, David Howard Thornton's great. It's just like the movies, and he elevates what he's in. So many of the movies, I have issues with the movies.
They're fine. I never think about them.
Yeah.
I never am going to probably rewatch any of them, but they're fine. I mean, I'm not a hater. It's just.
Well, the opposite of love isn't hate. It's just indifference. So.
I'm not even apathetic though. It's weird. It's. They're not quite amnesia cinema, whereas you forget about them immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to actively try to be like, okay, so that's they did something with a magic sword, didn't they? It just doesn't stick with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been giving away the whole plot resolution for this series to everyone who can listen because it's so blatantly obvious. But the Terrifier thing is just not my thing, and that's fine. I'm glad it's out there. I'm glad it's making money. I've said it a million times, but I'm also kind of just a little depressed that that's what came to save the horror genre. It still seems kind of uninspired to me.
I think, I don't know. It's just, again, I'm not a fan of the ultra violence in the Terrifier movies that much. I can do some. But Terrifier 2 was that bridge too far, and then Terrifier 3 was just like, are you fucking kidding me?
But my thing is, it's like, okay, so take the hallway sequence from The Shining, the twins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? There's nothing in the Terrifier films that approaches the level of sheer dissonant terror of that scene. And it's everything. It's the sound of the big wheels on the carpet and the hardwood. It's the patterns on the wall. It is the uneasy cinematography. It's the careful distance between the camera and the big wheel that is almost too precise to seem like artificial filmmaking. It feels too perfect.
Mm.
The cutting is intentionally not mathematical. But it's strictly controlled. It catches you off guard when you get these different focal distances shots intercut at a very quick rate when you get the big reveal that the bodies are actually hacked up on the floor in the memory. We get so there's gore and there's dead kids, right? So transgressive to begin with, but the difference between that and Terrifier is that I give a shit what happens to Danny Torrance in The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what happens to any of the characters from Terrifier. And it's not because of bad writing, because I don't think the films are necessarily badly written. I just think that it's not what I'm looking for, because I'm looking to feel things in movies, not just like point and go yuck, 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 right? Which it seems to be my dismissive way of saying what the Terrifier films are about. But that's how it feels to me.
Okay. No, I mean, like, those are two totally different audiences also. You know, you're making Terrifier for a specific reason, specific audience.
Yeah.
I like the Terrifier films. I do wish that in the genre, like, we could get those movies I know are an easy sell to people because killer clown, like, okay, very basic sort of thing. I wish especially with the word of mouth, we could get more people to watch movies like Rule of Jenny Penn that's out there. Very easy for anybody to watch right now on Shudder. And I mean, I obviously, like, here in this corner of YouTube, I know a lot of you in the chat have and do watch these movies, so I'm not really speaking to you, but just as a whole, it's like, that movie is so good. It hits you in the guts like a horror film should. It's just wonderful, but it's always a hard sell. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go see Minecraft. Yeah, I'm gonna go see the Killer Clown movie. Not dissing the Terrifier movies, I like them, but I just wish people would dig a little deeper, the good stuff that is out there. Like, it's just such a hard sell sometimes, pulling teeth. I don't know.
And I said this to you guys before we started the show, but I did go to the theater to see a movie in the last 2 weeks, and it was an Indian action film called Sikandar, starring Salman Khan. And it's not a great piece of film, but it's fun. It was a lot of fun. It has that freewheeling spirit that you don't get in American cinema, whereas they were they did big, silly, wonderful action set pieces that are almost too big and too crazy, but not in a Fast and Furious way where we have to have a kind of, like, I don't know, almost ironic view of masculinity undercurrent to it in order to sell it. It's not annoying, I guess is what I'm saying. It's earnest. It means it. It's cool. Not great cinema, though, but I like just having fun at movies, and I'm not having a lot of fun in American cinema, which is why I go see very little of it. No, anyway.
It is out there. It's just digging. It really is. But yeah, no, more people should be open to foreign markets for horror, because, again, Parvulos, for anybody coming in late. And again, that's a zombie film. It's familiar in some ways, but what they do with it is so much better than most of the zombie stuff you're getting from America.
Where the fuck is my Pabst Blue Ribbon and my Christmas tree cakes?
I've both for you here, sir. I'm so pleased you've arrived safely.
I expected Dirk and Darren to be here to meet me. Where are those ninny hammers?
They're inside. Sam and Lorne have devised a plan to kill the Dan alien hybrid creature. It involves a lot of running down corridors and closing doors. And Dirk and Darren are key players in that plan.
Kill that beautiful creature? I fear that things may have gotten out of hand. My elaborate plan to match a genetic host to the alien xenopathogen has gone off far too well to be derailed by those two visited by voices buffoons. I think it's time to shut it all down. Everyone's got to die.
And speaking of everyone. Speaking of that, the fan cut of Alien 3, the legacy cut, has come out. If you can get yourself a link to it, it's not an official release. I like every version of Alien 3 that exists a lot. Love. It's good. It's really good. If you've always been distracted by some of the optical effects, you're going to like what they did. They did make them a lot less distracting if that was what was throwing you out in the film. If it's the rest of the movie that bothers you, it's not gonna change your view on it. I don't think very much. It does use both the theatrical and the assembly cut as the basis. So the dog is still the host, so if it's not the ox, but the ox is in the movie. So it's a little bit of everything. A lot of the choices are compromise choices to try and make both versions work in concert with each other. But it's still an incredibly strong film. It does keep the old Golic plot line intact, which is the biggest thing that I'm happy about with the assembly cut, because that is probably the worst omission from the theatrical. Though I like the theatrical because it's tight, so who knows? So have any of you checked that out yet?
Not yet.
Mm-hmm.
I still got to see Romulus.
Watch Alien 3 again.
I know. I'll just watch Alien 3 again.
I think that's a really good idea.
I'll go back to the franchise at some point. I mean, I saw Alien, the 79 original, in the theater last year. I mean, that was awesome.
It still is.
Yeah.
I think even some re-releases of even something like Resurrection, I'd be curious to see how it would do at the theater. I think it might surprise people. I don't know. Could be wrong.
I'd be there. I'd show up for Resurrection in the theater.
Yeah, I like Resurrection. I'm that weirdo.
I like it more than I like Aliens. That doesn't say much.
Deep dive coming soon, I think, on the Alien movies.
Mm.
Yeah,
okay, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, not next month, but the month after.
Yes.
Because we're regrouping in June, is that it?
So there's 13 episodes in a season. This is episode 11. So we have 2, and then we take a couple months off, and we see all of you either late summer or early fall. I don't know. We have to discuss and figure this stuff out.
So the last episode, we'll talk about Jaws. The June episode.
Oh, yeah. Can always talk Jaws.
Also,
Lita's being angry about sequels.
Well, speaking of Jaws, like Five Below has a very cute Jaws like tote bag. So if you have a Five Below near you, go check it out.
Oh, that's cool.
I picked one up because I was like, yeah, of course, I fucking love Jaws. Why wouldn't I buy it for $5?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Jaws would be that one exception to the rule for me. I always hate when they make sequels that ignore sequels, right? I think it's the lamest thing ever. I'm not going to talk about a remake that just ignores everything. I'm just talking if, like you're saying, okay, well, these two happened, but nothing after that, or this happened and this kind of happened. Maybe that happened. I don't like any of that. If you made it, you live with it.
Yeah.
Jaws might be the exception, though. I'm kind of okay if they just say, okay, the first 2 films happened, and then, like, the 3rd and 4th film, that was a fever dream from one of the characters.
That's what Superman Returns tried to do. It completely ignored 3 and 4 and was just like, yeah, remember when Lois Lane and Superman had sex in the Fortress of Solitude? Well, she got pregnant, and now Superman's a deadbeat dad who flew off and wasn't there for the raising of the son.
2006 was a weird time.
I remember seeing something in IMAX, and they showed this scene on the air of him saving the airplane.
Yeah.
As like a coming attraction. They showed the whole scene. and I remember looking over at the people in the audience, and everyone was like kind of just bored. And I'm like, oh, that's not a good sign. And you knew that was going to be the highlight of the movie, and everyone was just bored. Oh, good times at the theater. Sure wish we were watching Minecraft with a live chicken.
Oh, God.
All right, Dan. You had come up with the concept of a topic for tonight about the Reanimator movies. You want to lead us off?
Absolutely. So I know this is one that I quite frankly can't remember who had asked for it, but I know we haven't talked the Reanimator movies, and I thought it would be interesting because I know, Lauren, you're not a big fan. So
yeah, he's so not a fan. He fucking left.
He's not even here for it. But Yeah, so I mean, Herbert West Reanimator, if you haven't read the story, well, you should, because it's completely different from the Stuart Gordon film. Herbert West Reanimator, it was initially published by a friend of his, George Julian Hutain, in his magazine Homebrew, which serialized the story in 6 volumes. And ironically, Homebrew was a comedy publication, which kind of maybe ironic, considering the Reanimator movie kind of moved more into comedic territory. And so I've always loved these films. It's interesting with horror fans, when they think Lovecraft, if they're just film fans, they think the Stuart Gordon, Brian Usna take on Lovecraft, which I always find funny, because that's very much not Lovecraft. Lovecraft's not known for his humor. I mean, it is there in some cases if you really want to dig, but very different. I mean, the story focuses more on the relationship, the narrator, which, I guess essentially became Dan Kane in the films. And the film introduces the love interest, Megan, played by the timeless Barbara Crampton, and all of that. Very, very different. But Reanimator was something that I think got a lot of people to read these great Lovecraftian stories. And it's always held a special place in my heart. Lovecraft was not a fan of films in general. He hated Dracula and Frankenstein. He thought it was all pretty much garbage. I'm kind of curious to get your guys' takes, because I don't think I've ever talked to any of you. Well, Lauren, I have briefly with you, but what is your thoughts on the Reanimator trilogy?
Well, Beyond Reanimator is fucking ass. Jesus Christ. First 2 Reanimator movies, man, that was a fun time, because I've never seen any of the Reanimator movies until this weekend. So I just decided to binge them all, binge them all in a row.
Awesome.
And I'm a little salty, because I'm just like, there's a really solid trilogy there, and they just fucking abandoned having a good Reanimator 3 that would kind of wrap up the saga of Dr. West and Dr. Hill, that rivalry, and just gave us a watered down version in Beyond Reanimator. It's basically, oh, neat. It's the first movie. It's kind of like the first and the second movies, and a little bit, just shitty, just shittier. And I'm just. Also, did anybody even bother asking Jeffrey Combs if he wanted to be Hannibal Lecter?
I don't know that he would have quite been right for it.
I don't know, man. Because, definitely 100% Dr. Herbert West, my favorite autist in horror. Right up there. It's definitely like one of those I can fix him situations. But at the same time, I feel like he's kind of the stupid person's idea of what a smart person is, because this happens in every fucking movie. Oh no, my experiment has gone awry. Who could have seen this coming? And it's like, dude, I've seen you have a machete and you have a gun, and somehow some asshole always, like, one of your asshole creations always knocks you out or is about to kill you every time we go through this. And honestly, Dan Kane, and who was that other Wiggler from Beyond Reanimator? Howard Phillips. You guys came to him and y'all complained about his behavior. You guys sought him out. Stop doing that.
Sam, in fairness to Beyond Reanimator, it's the only film where a reanimated rat fights a reanimated penis. So.
That was entertaining. And I also love how it's just rolling the severed dick along like a fucking dung beetle. That was great. But it's Beyond Reanimator. Oh my God. The pacing on that is bad too. Because I was just thinking, are we almost done? Where I did not have that thought at all during the first 2 movies. Speaking of which, if anybody wants to watch all of the Reanimator films, Internet Archive has all 3. They also have 2 Blu-ray rips of the first 2 movies, as single files. So That's how I watched those. I watched the Blu-ray rips. They are lovely. And it was just a very enjoyable experience watching those first two movies. Although, why can Dr. Hill hypnotize people? Why?
Did you watch? So you watched the integral cut that was dropped.
Oh.
Yeah, I kind of get mixed up sometimes what is and isn't in these different cuts, but the integral cut combines everything from the unrated cut and everything. That movie went out unrated. I mean, Reanimator, it took a while for it to catch on. I think they waited a little too long to get that sequel out. I know at one point they were trying to do Shadows over Innsmouth and some other projects that didn't happen. The idea was that this was going to be a Roger Corman Poe thing where they would really go through the catalog and just do a lot of Lovecraft movies. I mean, obviously these are very different. I get when you take the literature why maybe some people don't like these movies, but I do feel like they made a lot of Lovecraft fans. I mean, Stuart Gordon's a big reason. I mean, there's bigger reason, S.T. Joshi and Ramsey Campbell and a lot of other names I could throw out, but they're the reasons why we go into bookstores and have Cthulhu throw pillows and plushies and all of this. It certainly is a part of the story and the mythos. And I do like these movies. They're very different. Brian Usna, when he takes over, has his own distinct style. I am heartbroken that House of Reanimator wasn't made, especially being that Stuart Gordon was coming back at a time when he was doing excellent movies like Edmund and Stuck and really some of the best work of his career that a lot of people unfortunately just haven't seen. But these movies are fun. And, beyond Reanimator, I will say rewatching it before the show, it does have a lot of issues, but there were two American speaking actors and an entirely Spanish crew. And there was just a lot of issues, a lot lost in translation. And you can see it when you watch that movie. But the tone's still there. I am quite shocked that there aren't more Reanimator movies. Ivan Zuccone did do it in 2017. But there's not a lot of Reanimator movies, and there's nothing stopping any filmmaker right now from going and making their own. So I don't know what it is. It's kind of shocking.
I feel like Reanimator is one of those franchises that's like, we need one more movie to make up for beyond Reanimator. But I feel like it's kind of one of those series that you might be able to get some new viewers into it, but it's iffy.
Yeah. Stone, have you seen the Reanimator movies? I know I've never talked to you about them.
Unfortunately, I saw the first one years ago, maybe 20, 30 years ago. I have not seen either of the sequels, and that's on me. That being said, Jeffrey Combs is going to be a Texas Frightmare. If I end up there, I'll definitely ask him what's going on with that. He was actually supposed to go to Pensacon, and he canceled at the last minute. So I had planned on watching the Reanimators again and having him sign a Reanimator copy, but I'll eventually do that. But Jeffrey Combs, can I just say, I love his role in The Frighteners. Just real quick,
He's always
absolutely, I love that role. But I need to rewatch Reanimator. I do know, isn't the score like a little too close?
It is.
Herman?
It's so close.
It's very psycho. Yeah.
When I first heard it, I was like, oh man, if you guys had just told me that the score sounds exactly like Psycho, I would have watched Reanimator a long time ago. But it's sort of like, what is that? Like I don't know.
Yeah, Richard Dan.
I'm gonna get canceled if I say it.
He's acknowledged it. But man, House of Reanimator. It was gonna be. I think it was gonna be like they were kidnapped by like Men in Black, and they were going to be taken to the basement of the White House, where it turns out Reagan was killed in the assassination attempt. So they're like they're having to resurrect the president.
I would love that. Honestly, they should still do that. Just make up a president. Just make it happen.
Yeah.
Do Gremlins 3, but with President Clamp. Do
Yeah.
Reanimator 4. Bring back the president.
Jeffrey Combs himself has said, he's like, I honestly don't understand why there aren't 10 of these things. It may not have been a good thing at a certain point, but...
Yeah, but he's
It wasn't a good thing when they made the third film.
Third film's not an entire disaster.
Yes,
it does have its problems.
Lauren's
I'm
correct.
not defending it.
It's
I'm not defending it, but better than most direct-to-video fare of the time.
No! You're wrong, Dan. It's bad.
It isn't very good.
The same level of quality as Candyman 3.
Oh, it's better than Candyman 3.
It's
Only
I
because
think
that
even
must be a
more.
really good comparison.
Yeah.
the only thing that makes the difference is Jeffrey Combs, and it's like also, I mean,
He's not even as good in that as he is in the first two films.
Oh no, but I know, like the first two films, it's like one of those things where it's like he's so fucking good, and it's like you can't take your eyes off of him. But I love this part in the second movie where it's like Dan is talking to that. I guess she was a cancer patient. I'm not really sure because at first it's like, man, she looks like she's terminal, and they're talking about a biopsy, and then later on, like after Dan tells this like patient of his that he thinks of her like his ex-fiance, and then she just fucking dies because I would die too. That's cringe as hell, man. Anyway, and then all of a sudden it's like we went from biopsy to like heart transplant. I love it, but I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. So if you see the part like at that, it's near the beginning of the movie where he's talking to this patient of his, and being lovey-dovey kind of, which like, hey man, cool your bedside manner just a little bit. But you just see Herbert like looking at him like, like, bro. And it's so funny because he's just like, this is so beneath him. Like any sort of attachment to other humans is so beneath him.
Dan's kind of a little bit wrong about me in this series. I actually like Bride of Reanimator quite a lot.
I wanted to ask your opinion on Bride of Reanimator because
and that has nothing to do with like any comparisons to Bride of Frankenstein because that's so surface level. It's not funny.
Mm.
But the first one I just never have warmed to. Partially it's because it's based on the first two segments of Lovecraft's Reanimator stories, which, if you don't know the story, he didn't want to write them. He needed money. Farnsworth Wright was having him do a lot of rewrites of other writers' work that would be published in the magazine. And that's how he was actually paying his bills. The family fortune by then was pretty threadbare. Taxes were not to the point where he's going to lose the house, but he needed to bring money in to do things like, I don't know, eat, buy clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And he did enjoy travel quite a bit. He did visit a lot of his writer friends during his lifetime. So wherever he had any expenses, any frivolous spending, he would spend it to meet people. And he was basically commissioned, and it wasn't like they sent him a check to write the stories, but it was an understanding that if he wrote something really commercial, and at that time there was a big kind of Shelley revival going on. So if he wrote Frankenstein, he'd make some money and could go on a road trip to visit some friends. And especially after Howard died, he made kind of a quest to try and meet all of his correspondents because he was completely destroyed when Robert E. Howard died. So for the Reanimator stories, there's 5 stories as they were published in the magazine. And the first film is basically the first two segments. There's a lot more story after that, but it's never been adapted. And to be honest with you, it's fine because they're lesser Lovecraft stories. When he wrote his own bibliography the year he died, he did not include these stories among his official canon. So it was never sacred ground. However, growing up as a Lovecraft fan, I'd read all these stories before I ever saw the first Reanimator. Reanimator came out in 1985. It was unrated, which means the local theaters weren't playing, right? You had to go into the cities, or you had to have a drive-in out in the middle of nowhere that was playing to some pretty rough crowds. I didn't have that growing up. So I didn't see Reanimator until the video era, which I think is when most people saw it. I think you saw it on VHS or you saw it on HBO. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have cable, so pretty clear where I saw it. But even then, it was unrated, so every video store had a different policy about whether they'd run an unrated film to a kid. When I eventually saw this movie, and it was built up to me to be kind of like an American Video nasty, kind of like forbidden fruit, and it just isn't. It could not reach the bar of what everyone talked about it being. I saw stills. Oh, look, this is an intestine that comes to life and tries to strangle a guy. Well, the problem is, have you watched any Chinese horror films from the late 70s, early 80s? You'll see more extreme stuff. Jeffrey Combs' performance is good. Actually, I'm going to say everyone's performance is good.
Yeah.
But there was just nothing that compelling. And as a translation of the story, when we get to the third act stuff, we go wildly off of Lovecraft, which is fine, but I'd like there to be an actual adaptation of Lovecraft first.
Yeah,
So
I get that.
When Dan says that it brought a lot of people to read Lovecraft, that's cool. But if they're looking for Barbara Crampton getting,
Head from head.
Yeah.
they're not going to find that, right? That's not the kind of pulp we're talking about here.
No.
But Bride of Reanimator is kind of, it has a spirit of anarchy that the first film doesn't have. It's a little wilder. It's a little looser. It's not pretending to be an adaptation of Lovecraft. And as such, it's allowed to do its own thing. It's kind of the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 excuse. Like, well, at least it's not trying to be Carpenter. So I appreciate it more. And I do think that the final, like, cataclysmic invasion of all the dead mutants, I think that sequence is legitimately nuts. Whereas I think the final act, or the last 10 minutes of the original Reanimator, I think is underwhelming.
Yeah.
To me. Again, if Barbara Crampton negative is what's going to take you there, if that's all you want, you're going to love Reanimator, and I have nothing to say to you. But if you want the actual kind of reanimated, bodies and the siege, Bride does it so much better. So,
yeah, and I also really like the part in Bride where it's like she just falls apart. Like she tears herself apart from the inside out, and then rips out her own heart. That's beautifully tragic.
Yeah.
I love that.
Nothing to do with Lovecraft, though.
No,
it's fun. It's great.
Yeah.
Lovecraft left a lot open to interpretation, so adapting him has always been an interesting process. I do appreciate particularly a lot of the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society short films that they've done over the years. There is authentic Lovecraft or as close as you can get authentic Lovecraft on screen. But I don't mind these wild, crazy little takes. I mean, I've read Edward Lee has done his take on Lovecraft, and boy, is that different. I mean, I think it's amazing that this author who was not famous in his own time at all, another guy who probably went to the grave thinking nobody really gave a shit, which is tragic. And now, I mean, he's probably next to, I hate to say it, but next to maybe Stephen King, he's probably the second most known horror author on the planet that's ever lived, arguably. So that's pretty amazing. And
He took a public bus to the hospital to die.
Yeah, exactly. And here we are today, Cthulhu plushies in bookstores.
Would you guys recommend From Beyond as well? Or
Yes.
So From Beyond is a very similar story, but it's much more forgivable because it adapts the entire short story in its pre-credit sequence. Which is about right. I mean, it's a short story worth of material. And then everything after the credits, which is the rest of this, 78 minutes worth of movie, is all, well, basically a fan sequel. And because it's not pretending to be anything but that, I think it works a lot better. There's some silly S&M stuff that I don't think has aged very well. I think at the time was pretty cool. But today kind of is a little bit eye-rolly. But there's a lot good in it, and the story is great. Everything great about the story is in the original short story, but they go to places with it. I think From Beyond is a better film than any of the Reanimator films. Absolutely. I would say, though, Dagon is actually my favorite of the Gordon adaptations. Of
Dagon is amazing. Yes.
Some acting issues, absolutely, but it's the best the translation of Shadow over Innsmouth that could be made, probably, at least at that time. Why they called it Dagon, I'll never understand, because it's not that short story at all. But there you go.
Yeah, we'll have to do Dagon at some point.
I need to rewatch it. It's been forever.
Yeah, I really wish there was just. I really wish they just decided to just shoot it in native languages and just subtitle the damn thing, because I think the movie would come off way better. The dialogue in the stilted English is the biggest problem for people in that movie. Visually, it's the best of all. It may be the best Lovecraft adaptation visually, period, with one caveat, and you've already mentioned it, and that's the Ivan Zaccone, Herbert West Reanimator, which is visually a stunning film. Again, departs wildly from Lovecraft lore, but does so. It does. Yeah. I mean, but it does so with a certain amount of cinematic grace, and it's poetic and it's beautiful, and it's a mythos story, which I think is the strangest thing, because the Herbert West stories are not mythos stories, but Zaccone found a way to weave it into, the interstellar gods, monsters, mythology that Azathoth Down Lovecraft built. And I think that's really cool. And how he presents that's cool too, because he goes very abstract. He doesn't go all tentacles and slime. He goes very abstract, and I think it works. I think it's a beautiful film. You can find physical media of it. It seems to be very gray market, but it's out there.
Yeah. Are you a fan of Call of Cthulhu from 2005 or Whisper in the Darkness?
Whisper in the Darkness is pretty phenomenal. Call of Cthulhu works until it doesn't. Unfortunately, when we get to Rayleigh rising from the sea, the limitations of the special effects, the stop motion.
I get it, but
is
impressive considering what they had to work with.
Yeah, but it's just, again, I would like us to get a good straight version. And if story-wise, it's pretty straight, but
yeah.
I mean, I can nitpick a little few things, but I get it. But yeah, I just wish when we finally saw the big boy, he was as awe-inspiring as the character needs to be. And instead, he was kind of like King Kong.
Yeah, I get that. I am a fan of Call of Cthulhu, and if you guys are taking notes, Whisper in the Darkness, I want to say 2011. I'm not sure on the exact date, but you're looking for the Sean Branney directed film. That is very good as well, if you want a taste for the somewhat more authentic.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice companion piece, because Lovecraft only wrote one novel-length manuscript in his lifetime, and that's the case with Charles Dexter Ward. And it was never published in his lifetime. It was a first draft that he considered garbage. I think it's the second best novel ever written. Think about that. Since he didn't publish it, a lot of the themes got recycled. And so Whisper in the Darkness inherits some of those themes in a very different way, because you don't get the warlock, and you don't get certain things from Charles Dexter Ward, but it works. It's really good. It's really good. And also, some of it also ended up in the Thing on the Doorstep. So
you got The Resurrected with Chris Sarandon,
which is Charles Dexter Ward. Yeah. And of course you have the Karloff film, The Haunted Palace, which is the first adaptation of Charles Dexter Ward.
Yeah,
which is good for what it is. It's good for what it is. Very much of its time.
Yeah. I was going to say that's a good place to start because that was that the first Lovecraft adaptation? I'm trying to think the years here.
That's 62.
It is, I believe. Yes. So yeah, some other Lovecraft options for you guys out there.
Yeah, instead of Beyond Reanimator, which is trash.
I'm not defending it. I said
Yes, you are.
had a couple moments. Trivia, Sam. You know who the main actress in that is married to?
Beyond Reanimator, the gal who plays Laura Olney.
Yeah, very famous.
I don't even remember who the actress for Laura was.
Well, she's Miss Thor. Just
wait, that was Laura. Okay, wait, that was Elsa Pataki. She's Laura.
Yeah,
I thought she was Emily. Wow, but
or Emily.
Whatever.
I might be getting these names mixed up.
I'm not 100%. Yeah, I know. I mean, like, I'm familiar with Elsa Pataki, but yeah, I think I got the characters confused. Wait, she was okay. So she ended up marrying Chris Hemsworth because for the longest time she was with Adrian Brody.
Yeah, she dated him off of that terrible Argento film Giallo, but she's been married to. Yeah.
Well,
but then he made The Jacket.
Jacket's great.
Jacket is an amazing film that no one's ever talked about.
The Jacket, yeah.
Look, I am a big Adrian Brody fan. Giallo is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. It's really fucking bad. Like, I'd rather go watch Candyman 3 again.
Oh, I don't know if I'll go that far.
Is Candyman 3 the level of like the
well, look, either I'm dealing with Donna D'Errico's wig, or I'm dealing with Adrian Brody's prosthetic nose. Why?
Brody's a weird actor because he's fantastic as an actor, but it's like he'll get just won a fucking Oscar for Brutalist, his second one, but then in between sometimes he makes really bizarre decisions.
Like movie 43?
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck are you doing in this, Adrian Brody?
You're an Oscar winner, dude.
Wow, Oscar winners have been in crap before. That's not new.
Well, also Splice was a fun movie. That movie was fucking crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like Splice. Vincenzo Natali, Cube.
Mm-hmm. Splice is great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
At the risk of sounding like clumsy exposition, can you explain Sam and Lorne's plan to me?
You and Dan mop this polyfluoral accelerant on the floors. That way, when the beast is chasing us through the hallways, we can set fires to control which way it goes. Ultimately, it ends up in the nuclear furnace. We lock the door. Maybe it dies from radiation poisoning.
But this one's intelligent, Jessica.
I mean, it's got your DNA as a base, so not real concerned.
That was very Karen of you to say.
I think we've run out of time to set up this trap.
Best monster ever.
Because it has your hat.
Yeah.
Stone, you wanted to talk about an actor tonight.
Yeah, well, I was thinking when we were thinking of topics, I was thinking, there were times where, of course, we feel like we have to talk about an actor or director that passed away, like David Lynch or somebody like that. And like, okay, we don't have to be miserable talking about their body of work. Why not we celebrate somebody's birthday? And so today's the 75th birthday of actor William Sadler, who has a very interesting body of work. He only made 4 films in the 1980s, and then he exploded in 1990 with Hard to Kill, The Hot Spot, and Die Hard 2.
Love Hot Spot.
Mm-hmm. And he played the evil colonel in Die Hard 2, who has that infamous opening where he does like the nude gymnastics thing, or what is he doing in the beginning of Die Hard 2? Not
in the script. I talked to him. And he said he showed up on set and they made him do that. And he didn't know. He's like, yeah, I might have questioned that. I'm like, all right.
Look, I don't hate Die Hard 2, but oh my God, this movie is such a joke. It's the same movie as the first one, literally. And I know they make fun of that, but I don't. It's just too similar for me. But then he won the Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actor for. Can you take a guess?
Saturn Award. Well, I don't. Are you talking film right now, or
yeah? In 1991.
Oh, 91. I feel
he played Death in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
I wasn't sure if it was that year. I was thinking,
I was going sci-fi, and
I think that Bogus Journey is the first time I ever saw William Sadler in a movie.
Oh,
because, I'm pretty sure. But yeah,
better than Die Hard.
Well, I mean, I thought Death was my favorite character in Bogus Journey. I still need to see Face the Music though. But honestly, it's like because like Bogus Journey is one of the funniest dumb jokes that is stuck in my brain forever. Where it's like they're playing 20 questions, and then I can't remember who goes, but it's like, "Are you a mineral?" And it's like, "Are you a tank?" Like for some reason, that's the perfect stoner joke.
They keep falling in this never-ending black pit down to hell. It's incredible. But I remember when I first saw Bogus Journey with my dad, and I had just dipped my toe into Ingmar Bergman. Okay, but when they play all these games with death, to like they do in the Seventh Seal, where they play chess. Well, in Bogus Journey, they play Sorry and Battleship.
Yes.
Do they play Monopoly? Oh, what are all the games that they play? They play like 6 or 7 board games. It's insane. I hit. You sunk my battleship. And I just love his character because he, like, near the end, he wants to help out Bill and Ted by like, what? I helped with the wigs. Like as they go to the Battle of the Bands and everything. I mean, and I love Sadler in practically everything he does. I mean, look,
he elevates everything.
He plays Haywood Floyd in The Prisoner and Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
He has a number of really, really good scenes in that. And then when I saw Green Mile, I was happy to see that the director had cast him again, and then he cast him yet again in The Mist. So he's been in all 3 Stephen King adaptations directed by Frank Darabont. Mm-hmm.
Some of the best ones, except the New Salem's Lot.
He just did the New Salem's Lot. But look, I haven't seen those movies that he did in the middle of the 90s that were based on Tales from the Crypt, like Demon Knight and Bordello of Blood. I mean, are they worth seeing now? He plays the mummy in Bordello of Blood.
I need to
Demon Knight. Okay.
I need to like make Chris watch Demon Knight. We were going to a few nights ago and just just didn't happen. But yeah, dude, Demon Knight is fun as fuck.
Okay.
And it's also got the voice of Roger Rabbit in there.
Oh, Charles Fleischer?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I remember Demon Knight got decent reviews, and then Bordello of Blood, everybody was like, "Oh, this is awful."
Bordello of Blood, if you're not into Dennis Miller, you're gonna have trouble.
God, I wonder what Dennis Miller's comedy is like these days.
Or what comedy? What
I don't know.
He was supposed to be funny. What?
Oh, I love Dennis Miller.
Well,
oh no! So do you like Bordello of Blood?
So the Off-White album is as funny as any comedy album ever recorded.
Oh, okay.
It's. I mean, I know that people don't like him for other reasons. I don't give a shit about any of that. That album, I dare you to listen to it and not lose your shit.
All right, I'm going to listen to it tomorrow then.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
That's a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, Sadler, he really did elevate a lot. He's just the definition of a fantastic character actor. And he did a lot of great TV work. Deep Space Nine, director Luther Sloan, which is a great arc on that show. I don't like it as much as a lot of people seem to, but Disturbing Behavior, best part of that movie.
Harvey Danger doing Flagpole Sitta is the best part of Disturbing Behavior. Sorry.
good soundtrack, then he's great. The movie, I don't know, I don't quite get it, but yeah, he's great. Roswell, another sci-fi show that he did.
I missed the Roswell, the heyday of Roswell. That just passed me by.
Good show. I really enjoyed that show quite a bit.
He played the sheriff on Roswell for like 61 episodes.
Yeah.
Huh.
Trespass is a great action movie that he was in that doesn't get a lot of attention. I think it opened
Bill Paxton.
Yeah, it opened like Christmas Day and just nobody saw it, but then it grew its audience on video. But yeah, I'm glad you picked this one, Stone, because I do think that he's somebody that should get more attention. He always nails it. Even when he's in something like Kinsey, which is the most Hollywooded up movie I've ever seen. If you're unaware of the actual story of Kinsey,
the sex professor, played by
that one does not
insane.
Has no idea who that guy actually.
You know, I'm just going to talk to my kids at the dinner table about all these new sex words that I learned today. Created.
Yeah. You may want to read about him rather than watch the movie.
Yes, but, it's an insane story.
Yeah, Jimmy and Judy, probably the last good Eddie Furlong movie. Yeah, lots of great genre work and fantastic actor.
A couple of other. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, a couple other little tidbits. He played the president in Iron Man 3. And he was also he also did a deleted scene for Ant-Man where he played the president too. And I loved him see him come back as Death in Bill and Ted Face the Music, which he also executive produced. But I find this hilarious. Like the very first credit that he has on anything, way back in 1977, he was in the CBS Festival of Lively Arts for Young People, and the episode was called Henry Winkler Meets William Shakespeare.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for that.
I think he's kind of getting to that point where he's slowing down a little bit. But VFW, recent action film he was in, pretty good too. Not a fan, Lorne.
That movie. I know everyone wanted to like that movie, but that movie is fucking pointless.
Sadly, he was also in the Grudge remake.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Universally,
I blocked out so much about that movie.
Look, you got to keep the lights on. Okay, you got to keep the lights on.
I'm sorry. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe that was just like John Cho was in that movie too. I guess it might be a got to keep the lights on situation. I feel like John Cho is going to be like the next William Sadler because he's going to be like everybody is going to have seen him in something, and it's going to span the gamut all over the place.
I thought we would have had a John Cho renaissance with the Searching, but then he made that AI movie which bombed spectacularly.
He elevates things that he's in, but oh my god. Like, I mean, the second season, he was in The Exorcist, the second season of The Exorcist. That movie, like that season is barely watchable. The first season of The Exorcist, wow, it's kind of a hot mess. Second season,
looks a lot better after what we recently got, doesn't it?
Oh man, I need Exorcist Deceiver to come out as soon as possible because I need something to hate on.
I don't know what they're gonna do to make anybody interested in The Exorcist again. I have no fucking clue. They still make the knockoffs, so Al Pacino is gonna be in one coming out soon. It's wild to me.
The Godfather Exorcist?
I think they're calling it the Ritual or something. Dan Stevens is like the young priest in it. I don't know. Looks like the same thing, but
I approve throwing money at Dan Stevens. I'm just feeling kind of uneasy. I'm like, man, just Al Pacino and Robert De Niro are somehow still alive and still making movies.
Al Pacino's a new dad.
Oh, God.
He's a new dad at like 83. So
I don't know, man. You might want to get a paternity test. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Before we close on Sadler, and this is not one of his best movies by any means, but am I the only person that saw it in the theater solo the Terminator knockoff that he played the villain.
Wait, is that the one with Mario Van Peebles?
Mario.
Yeah.
My
Mario.
mom loved that movie. I never watched it. I was like,
It's
He
fine.
he plays a colonel in that one too with Adrian Brody and Mario Van Peebles.
that's so
yeah,
weird.
Brody's in it.
Oh my! And Damian Bashir.
I don't have much of a connection to William Sadler at all. His filmography doesn't have any of my favorite films or films I even have ever watched really more than once on it, with one exception. He's always good in everything, but the body of work for me isn't adding up to much. I don't like Die Hard 2. I just, again, it's your complaints. It's stoned completely. It's the first film again, but everything about the first film is better than the second. There's no way they improved on it. And there's logic problems galore in the second one that the first film doesn't have. So why did that thing happen? Especially when the third film got it right and said, listen, the character is what works.
Yes.
So let's build a film around this character. I think Die Hard with a Vengeance is a stone cold classic in its own right. Maybe a little bit of a muddled ending, but I don't even give a shit by that point. It's just too good up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I look at his whole catalog again, because I reviewed it for this segment. And I was trying to find something I could talk about, and I did eventually find one thing. But honestly, I just don't have that much of a connection with this actor, and I'm glad we're talking about him before he's dead, because it would be a really shitty thing to say if it was in memoriam. Your
life was mediocre.
Your life just didn't connect with me. Sorry. But he is in a film. It's actually a film that David J. Schau was brought in to redraft and apparently saved the fucking movie, which is awesome because David J. Schau is a guy who writes a lot of great stuff and usually has his work molested beyond belief. Not always, I mean, The Crows somehow survived, but it's a film called Hills Run Red. And he's one of the four biggest roles in the film, although he's not in it a ton. But it's one of those films that I'm really shocked doesn't have a following, and it doesn't have a following.
Got a Blu-ray.
Yeah, but it's distressing because it's, as much as we fetishize the slasher film, and as much as we fetishize kind of the hillbilly horror kind of thing, like Hills Have Eyes, Wrong Turn type of thing, this movie has a lot going for it, and no one seems to care. So I'd love if you guys would just, I'm sure you can find it on Tubi for free, or on YouTube for free. Just check out Hills Run Red and use our discussion of Sadler as an excuse to watch a really, really great little gem of a movie, and the one place that David Schau did not get screwed over. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hot Spot as well. I like Hot Spot.
Hot Spot. I would just remember, if you haven't seen Bill and Ted Face the Music yet, he's just having the time of his life in that role and in that movie. I mean, he's just, over the Grudge remake and the new Salem's Lot, just watch Face the Music.
I didn't like them not bringing Diane Franklin back.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a controversy on Twitter because they were trying to
give them 20-something wives, which I was like, bring back.
They were trying to bring back the original princesses, and the person that you think said no. Unfortunately, yeah, but William Sadler, happy birthday, man! I love your work.
Happy birthday! I don't care.
Shawshank Redemption, man.
Better than the source material. It improves.
Yeah,
but I don't really care.
But do you like The Mist?
No,
not at all.
No,
wow.
No love for that ending.
The ending's the coolest part of it, but it's a slog. That movie is a slog.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry, kids.
I think we're fucked more than Linnea Quigley in Savage Streets.
Get the team out of here, Jessica. I'll hold them off.
Close hallway crash door number 16.
Shit, a Danny Steinman reference is never a good omen.
Fuck him up, boys.
One last time. Fuck you, Karen.
No, fuck you.
William Sadler outlived you, Lauren. You had to go and talk shit.
And my workload just got easier. So, Sam, I believe grossest birth scenes is your creation. So you want to do something with this?
Not especially, but no. So you know how it's like everybody has those fears, right? Those like deep-seated like lizard brain fears. So one of mine has always been like the idea of giving birth. Honestly, the whole idea of being pregnant in general, because it's just like your body is like fundamentally changing against your will. And then at the end, you have to go through this incredibly traumatic process of getting this thing out of your body. It's kind of horrifying. And, you know, like, don't have kids of my own. And to be fair, like, I'm not against kids, but I'm also terribly fucking freaked out by the idea of giving birth because, let's be fair, Chris is 6'11". I'm getting a C-section. And what if they fucking take out my organs and put them back in wrong? It's stuff like that. Because, you know, honestly, like, I refuse to be conscious for that. I'm going to be like, nope, just wake me when it's over. Like, if there was a way that I could make Chris give birth like a fucking seahorse, I would, but it's not possible currently.
Hey, there's a Schwarzenegger movie that begs to differ. Technology.
Junior.
Junior is such a fun movie. I'll never wait on that movie. But yeah, so that's why I decided, hey, what about grossest birth scenes? And I mean, it's like, dude, The Miracle of Life is already at #1. Like, we all had to fucking watch that. Or at least a lot of us in the older generation. It's like, that's something I have to do? My body has to do that? Absolutely not.
The Miracle Birth. I'm sorry, that smells like a religious-inspired type of video or something.
Oh no, it was a health class video.
Yeah,
it's a health class video? Okay.
Yeah, and it was just like, Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, you know, if you guys don't want us to have sex, I mean, that's a good way to, you know, to nip that in the bud real fast.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, like, a couple of like memorable birth scenes for horror, though. It's like that one scene, one of the accelerated pregnancies in Species 2, where the fucking tentacle just shoots out of this woman. Oh my God. You know, and obviously it's like, I thought the one in Alien Romulus was pretty good too. Although it's not really a full-fledged birth scene, but it's been a minute. Obviously the Fly dream sequence, that goes right up there.
Mm-hmm. David Cronenberg played the gynecologist in that sequence.
I'll bet he did.
Yeah, he was down.
Gotta like a man who loves his work.
Yeah, so no, I mean, those are just a couple of the ones off the top of my head that are creepy as hell. And I still haven't gotten around to watching the first Omen, you know, because it's like everybody's like, oh, the birth scene. Like, I know, I'll get there. So what do you guys think? Because it's like, you know, I find this, I'm interested about like y'all's opinion, you know, because it's like y'all can't give birth.
Hey, hey. 2025, we don't use words like that.
Yet. Y'all can't give birth yet.
What's can't about? I was told I could do anything I wanted in life.
I mean, you can, like, okay, so you're volunteering to be the first junior then. Like,
I hate children. This is not a good idea.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't want to. So I pass. Should leave it to Schwarzenegger for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm cheating on this one a little bit because I don't think it was so much the birth, but immediately after Mother, the post-birth baby crowd surfing scene.
Yeah, that ends well.
Where you see the neck just break and then they're eating the babe's minor.
Yeah, dude.
Spoiler for a movie no one's ever going to watch again.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I feel bad because it's like Mother got a lot of hate for some reason.
That scene in particular.
That scene in Yeah, there's other reasons. I think that might be one to talk about sometime, but no, I mean that it just you hear and it's very subtle, like the neck break, and it's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
was not expecting that. That
Yeah,
one
turns out babies are pretty delicate, right, when they're fresh out the oven.
This is true. This is true.
It's one of the major differences between a baby and a hacky sack.
Are we about to segue into our favorite dead baby jokes?
I know the guy who wrote the dead baby joke book and was getting death threats like you would not.
Of course you know him. Why wouldn't you? You've seen like literally every movie on the face of the earth. Of course you would know the guy that wrote the dead baby joke book.
You could probably figure out who it is, but that was actually quite serious. They wanted to kill him pretty bad.
I mean, there is like 25% of the population that legitimately doesn't have a sense of humor, which is really troubling.
Yeah, that is true. The Amazon reviews on that, I'm sure they're all gone at this point, but were interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
You know, another one that comes to mind for me, Warlock the Armageddon.
Oh, yeah, I know you talked about that one.
Where she gives birth to this big blob that then kills her dog, smashes it against the wall too, which was a little more graphic than you would expect in a 90s horror movie. And then fully grown Julian Sands just screaming like a baby outside that door. That one comes to mind.
God damn. Oh man, you know, at some point we got to do a retrospective on the Warlock movies.
Oh, I don't want to watch them again though. That's a big ask.
Sad what happened to Julian Sands. He went out there and got lost, and
That's
never
way to go.
Never totally clear how he died. I don't think they said. I mean, I assume some kind of heart attack or fell, whatever. But yeah,
woodchuck attack.
Yeah, it could have been that.
Come on, you guys were just joking about dead babies. I'm allowed to make a joke about this.
Oh no, what's that growling noise in the cave? Let's go see.
So suddenly people are angry at me for a senior citizen dying, but yeah. In Mother, it's funny when the baby's neck gets cracked. I'm the bad guy here, right?
I feel like Danzig might have had a hand in this.
Oh man, no, Cliff wins. There it is.
Oh,
there it is.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true.
You brought up Alien Romulus, Sam. I was going to say I really like the birth scene or the pre-birth scene in Prometheus.
Yes.
He has to take it out of her stomach, and we actually see it. That's actually one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah,
there was a weird, messed up. I'm probably the only one that gave it a mildly decent review when it was released direct to DVD, called Inalienable. The guy from Walter
Richard
Koenig.
Hatch.
What?
Richard Hatch, right?
I believe so, yeah. But it has what's his name from Star Trek?
Walter Koenig, yeah.
Walter Koenig, yeah. Where this guy actually gives birth to this alien creature, and then he has to fight for custody in court.
Yeah,
it's really bizarre. Now, if I was going to throw out there a wild card though for this category, because here again, I mean, when brutal satire can go, really far. In Monty Python's The Meaning of Life, there's a couple of birth scenes in that movie which are terrifying. The babies. I mean, okay, the opening is the miracle of birth, where it just basically shows a woman going to the hospital, and it's a satire of course, the national health system in England. But oh man, it's like, they have the running gag about the machine that goes bing, and they're spending all these money on all these fancy machines that we don't really know what they do and everything. But my favorite part of that, which is actually very prescient, I think, is when she asks, "Is it a boy or a girl?" And Graham Chapman says, "No, I think it's a little early to start imposing roles on him, don't you?" Oh, so that's my 2 cents. I'm trying to think of any other terrifying birth scenes in the movies, but
So-
I mean, like The Fly is always the one that always comes up first.
I'm shocked Dan didn't go here, so I'm going to go there. The Brood.
Oh shit, that's true.
Holy God. The sack, tearing it open, licking the baby clean. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, The Brood is the Cronenberg film that people just don't give the love that they really should. It's a masterpiece. It's awkward. It's hard to watch in places.
You can
It
kind
has
of
a lot to say.
back there.
It's. I remember the first place I saw any clip from The Brood, and it wasn't that scene, was in Terror in the Isles. And I was like, "What is this film with the fucked up kids? I need to see that thing." And then I saw it, and I was like, "Wow, that lived up to everything I thought it would." Remember when that used to happen? You used to see just a little bit of something and be like, you let you daydream about it, and when you saw the actual film, it would actually live up to it and be as good as you thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen anymore.
No,
ever. But David Cronenberg is a national treasure, even if he's not our nation. So, the other one is actually something that's not so much gross or even disturbing, really, but was really important to me as a kid. And in V, The Final Battle, the second miniseries, when Robin gives birth to the alien-human hybrid, the first baby comes out looking fine, except she has a lizard tongue that spits out, right? But then the next one comes out and it's not okay. That was really bad, and that's where the episode ends. That's where the second episode just cuts off, and you're like, "What? What?" But then the next one starts with the most traumatic thing ever, which is the grotesque lizard baby thing dies, and it's kind of whimpering and pathetic, and it's like they managed to freak you out in the last episode and then break your heart for this thing. Ugh. Immediately in the beginning of the third. It's brutal, and it was made by NBC for public consumption on the most massive scale, because the first V miniseries was as big as any miniseries in the 80s. Huge. It was huge. Yeah. Forget Thornbirds, it was that big. Yeah. And they knew we were playing with fire, and they didn't care. They went there. And as a kid, that was mind-blowing that the twins' birth was already messed up, and then the next episode, what? You're killing a baby on network television? And yeah, that's what they did.
Well, the Hannibal series got away with a lot of stuff for TV.
That's much later.
Yeah. Although Hannibal is fucked up.
I loved it. It was great. Big fan of Hannibal.
I like Mads Mikkelsen. I've said it before. This might be something that'll piss people off, but when I think of Hannibal, I might go Mads Mikkelsen. That's how great
it's Brian Cox for me.
Yeah,
Because when you read Red Dragon,
yeah, I agree.
Cox completely nails the role as written, and Hopkins' Hannibal Lecter is a great creation, but it's a big gothic horror performance, and that's not what's on the page. The idea on the page of Hannibal Lecter in the first novel, which is what I read. My aunt gave me the novel for my birthday, I think in '86. The idea is that you'd go to see this guy as a psychiatrist, and you'd never get a beat, that he was storing up all your nightmare fuels to maybe target you with. And that there's a subtle insinuation in that first book that he was actually trying to work against his patients. That's the scary idea behind him, is the person that you let it get the closest to you and know all is the biggest threat. It's you went to live, prehistoric man went to live with the cave dwelling wolves. It's just, he's not okay, but he seems okay. Mm-hmm. And Hopkins played him as Dracula. It's when Starling goes into that underground lair, it's already gothic and ridiculous. but she comes face to face with Dracula like Jonathan Harker going to Transylvania. It's a big gothic horror, and that's fine. I love Silence of the Lambs. I love Hannibal even more, but Manhunter gets it right to the page. And like I was saying before, I don't mind new versions of things, but let's get the real version out there first. And the Michael Mann film, I have issues with, just like all the purists, with what he did with the ending. I like the ending, the Inagata-Devita ending, but it's not the book. But up till then, it's pretty fucking close. And Cox is amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, good. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, what?
I just said Cox are amazing, so I guess.
Yeah, they are.
That will be clipped.
Definitely.
For sure.
We really
love
need
the Cox.
a Facebook account to put this shit on.
I think you would like Hannibal, Lauren. I know you're not a TV guy, but imagine, like, there is almost not a stitch of humor. That show is pure delirium, nightmare fuel.
I get it, but does it do the bloated narrative thing, whereas they create subplots to take over main plot territory to stretch the thing out? I hate that.
I don't think it does a pretty terrible job of that. I mean, you spend a lot of time with the two characters. I didn't mind it expanded. I mean, there is sometimes that monster of the week, human monster of the week formula, I guess, to a certain degree, but I think it would surprise you. I don't know, Sam, do you agree? Because I think you'd like it.
About Hannibal?
Yeah.
I mean, Hannibal's a great series. I've binged it. Like it's been several years since I've binged it, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. I can't really say to whether or not, the subplots overtake the main plot in order to like drag everything out, because it's sort of just, I remember enjoying it and I remember the bat shittery of it, but I could not tell you enough about like the plot breakdown. I have no fucking idea, because that's how my ADHD brain works. It's just like fucking memory dump it.
I think there's one moment of humor in that entire show. And that's when that one guy was being a dick at the dinner table and he just fucking kills him out of nowhere. And he's just like, that was an overreaction.
Oh my God.
I think it was the line. And that is it. The rest of that show, Mason Verger, like, I was a little surprised what they did with that. TV.
Yep. Honestly, the closing shot of the whole series is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
With Gillian Anderson. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, she's great. She's great. Catherine Isabel, if you guys are Catherine Isabel fans, she's in that show. I love it. I just again, I appreciate something that doesn't have to have a joke every 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
So is that all the birthing we're doing tonight? You're a bunch of birthers, you know that?
I think we've birthed enough.
Don't worry. You're gonna be okay. This thing brought Stone back even stronger. Please. Please work. Please.
I'm afraid not. Oh, don't give me that look, new girl. I'm doing the show a favor. After all, if everything is easily undone and no one ever really dies, well, it loses its sense of stakes and gravity, doesn't it? It all becomes predictable and boring. No one wants that, do we? In fact, I say we should up the ante even further.
His is a savage.
Yes.
Kidding, man.
This is how you introduce a secondary villain. So, final topic of the evening is things that take you out of a horror movie. We all have those personal pet peeves, and some of them aren't so personal. Some of them everyone seems to hate, but there's always something that really sets a movie out right? Like you're enjoying it, you're vibing with it, and then it does that thing that probably other movies have done, and it sets you off, and you can no longer not see that you're watching a movie. You can no longer invest in the situation of the characters. And I'll just tell you, one of my biggest ones is comic relief characters that should not be there.
Yeah.
Wow, do I detest a character that exists just to relieve tension in a horror movie.
Yeah.
That's a miscalculation of the highest order.
Mhm.
And they're in a lot of things, you know. I mean, the later Nightmare on Elm Street series was kind of infamous for having them. A lot of the Wes Craven stuff does, actually. The later Wes Craven stuff does. But even in the Tom Cruise Mummy movie, which I think receives way too much hate for what it is, it's far from the worst action horror hybrid thing that ever existed. But the decision to have a comic relief character, just sinks every scene he's in.
Mm.
And if you removed that character entirely, I think people would have a very different view of the movie. I really do. So, I mean, comic relief characters are definitely a problem. The other thing on a related note is the dead parent speech. God damn it, do I hate when they want to artificially, in a horror movie, create sympathy by a character by talking about a dead parent and giving them that kind of Phoebe Cates at Christmas the tragedy story, which in Dante's hands works because it's played as dark, ironic humor. But too many horror movies get real serious about this shit. And it doesn't create kind of any connection with the character for me. It makes me see what the screenwriter is doing. And you should never see the sausage being made as you're watching. Ever. So those are two big pet peeves of mine that throw me completely out of a movie every time I encounter them. What about you guys?
I have a very recent example, actually, in the last week that is perfect for this. I don't recommend anybody run out and see it or anything, but I was watching the Asylum knockoff Jolly Monkey, and it is the perfect example of why would you not just fucking leave? And in this film, it's really bad because there's no reason. Like, there's a point where it's like, it's just a motel. They do nothing to indicate that they're sealed in or they can't get away. They don't disable the car. Like, they could just fucking leave and figure it out later. And some are worse offenders than others, but that is something like, again, maybe it's an age thing, but I see it more often. And I'm just like, I would just fucking leave, run. You've got open space, figure it out later. Like, it does take me out of it more now, or at least come up with a compelling reason that they can't get out. If it's a supernatural thing, I'm fine. You know, sealed in, you know, Night of the Demons, whatever. Like, you come up with some reason, but you've got to, that can be a big issue, especially in books too. Because I'm like, you got to explain to me why they can't just fucking run right now. Because I don't get it. I don't get it. Your best option would be to get out of this enclosed space and just figure it later.
That always comes down to, for me, like, you didn't create a big enough threat.
Mhm.
Like, if you can simply run away from the killer, the monster, the evil, well, then do that, right? That's your solution. Game over. Make it a real-time horror movie then, where every minute's a real minute then, I guess, right? I mean, there's ways to do it, but yeah, I feel like you didn't think about your villain threat, and the threat level is just not high enough if it's that easily. If a phone call can fix you, you shouldn't be making a horror movie about it at this point.
Yeah, this was another one too. Like, oh, that's a obvious red herring, and it's like, no, that's just it. That's what it is. The character that's just like, all right, well, I'll leave you guys to unpack these boxes. I'll be back later, and then just like down the stairs, and it's like, that can't be the killer, but sure enough, it fucking is in Monkey. So there was a lot going on in that one, but yeah, I do zero in on that more than I did before. And there are certain scenarios where the evil follows you. I get that, but I just, if I'm in that situation, I'm running. I mean, I have a fucking car. Like, makes it even worse. Like, give me some bad CG flames or something that the car has been disabled at least. But even then, this is a motel in, out in open space that you could just run, figure it out later. I don't know. Simple, but that's a big one for me. One more, and this one's also simple, but it all the time, and this bothered me when I was a kid. When you got the villain down, let's make it definitive.
Kill him.
Yes.
Just kill him. Don't wait for the cops.
Yeah. Like, you got him down. Like, get your boot and just fucking curb stomp him, Seth Rollins style, until his eyeballs come out, and it's over. I'm not going to help you with Jason, but
I mean, like, if they're trying to kill you and you get the advantage,
you kill them.
Look, you're already in fight or flight mode. Make the best of it. Use that adrenaline.
Well, even if you're not the kind of person who actually could kill another person, in those circumstances, how about you break some feet?
Yeah.
They can't come after you. Break some.
That's actually brilliant.
Misery. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again,
I'm pretty sure you could drop a cabinet on someone's foot who tried to kill you. I'm pretty sure you could do that.
I'm just ending it. I'm like, at that point, I think
you don't even have to. I mean, unless they're a supernatural thing, right?
Yeah.
If it's just a regular slasher situation, a serial killer situation,
yeah,
you get them down. Yeah, I promise, you break an ankle, they're not going to catch you. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same thing with just repeated blows to the head. That'll end it more definitively.
I always wonder if I could actually kill a person. So I don't think I could. So
if they've tormented you for hours on end, like in your house, or
I get it, but that is a big bridge, and I'm not sure. I'm thinking most people couldn't cross it. But as far as doing something to defend yourself, to get yourself to safety, yeah, absolutely, every day.
Well, yeah, I mean, also, if you've worked retail, I promise you can absolutely find the motivation to kill somebody, whether or not your life depends on it.
Especially if they're going to see the Minecraft movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that takes me right out of the movie. Motherfucker brings the chicken to the theater.
I got a chicken and my name is Steve.
Jesus Christ. This is what we're doing these days.
Well, me is the most cliched complaint in the world, but jump scares. Even in some of the best horror movies like Scream, they have to use a jump scare somewhere for some reason. Yeah, I'm more of the Lake Mungo type. Give me something a little bit more intellectual.
Mm-hmm.
Jump scares have a place,
huh?
but they need to have consequence, and they have to actually have real threat involved, or they have to be good misdirection that's resolved immediately. So I always say that, like, the cat through the window jump scare in Friday the 13th Part 2 is a perfectly acceptable jump scare, because after the fake scare, we get the real scare immediately after, right? So it's effective because it's a misdirection. I don't mind, like, if you have a situation where it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. Hey, what's in this room? Is this where you keep the new songs and maybe some of the golden oldies? And Leatherface is suddenly there. It's a jump scare, but there's real threat to Stretch, right? So that's acceptable to me. Not only acceptable, it's awesome to me. You get startled, but she's really in peril. What I don't like is the kind of Blumhouse, oh, look, there's a ghost above that dresser drawer. And she goes, boo! And then we never talk about it again.
And they feel they need to make a loud noise on the soundtrack every single time.
That's awful.
It's just noise.
Jumping out and going boo is not tension. Not true horror.
Have you guys revisited the original Witchboard recently?
About a year ago.
Movie is constantly doing jump scares. That means
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of people who drop hands on shoulders in that movie is unbelievable.
Got to see some things from that are not available to the public. So yeah, I've watched a lot of Witchboard lately.
I got through Witchboard just because Tawny Katian was one of the hottest women, I think, who ever lived. God.
There's a new one that's shot, and I'll have to double check what's going on with it, but it's in the can.
Oh, good, because I need more.
You need
I'm losing sleep, wondering what happens next in the canon of Witchboard.
You know what? Ouija 2.
Excuse
Pretty
me?
decent. Ouija 2.
Hmm?
Origin of Evil. Believe it or not, that's a decent little movie.
Sure it is.
Crap. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, it also had a good director behind it.
Yeah.
It helps.
So I was, I didn't really have much for this topic because, I think it's movie specific for me when something takes me out of something, right? Like I will never be able to really give a flying fuck about the, like, Saw 4, 5, and 6. I don't know, when it's like Hoffman and the other dude, when you've got your two main characters, your protagonist and your antagonist, and they both look so similar that I can't tell them apart. I'm just going to dissociate. I'm just going to wait.
That's only the 5th film.
Oh, is it only the 5th one? I thought it was 4 and 5.
Strom is very minor. Hoffman and Strom are both pretty background characters in 4, but 5, it's the film about the two of them.
Okay, it's definitely like that movie is so Spy versus Spy. It's like Black Spy and White Spy. They look identical. It's so frustrating. But also, it's like when you get too stupid with your plot. When, like, because we walked out of Hellboy, the remake, because it's sort of they started talking about King Arthur and Excalibur. I'm like, no, I'm done. Felt so bad. Poor David Harbour. I'm glad he has a career after that.
Oh, and Violent Night 2 will be coming out in Christmas, so.
Oh, I'm down.
I'm totally down. I'll watch another Violent Night movie.
He was just the blind best friend in the Jason Statham A Working Man.
Oh, okay.
Was that good?
It's Jason Statham. I mean,
they're serviceable movies.
He's carrying on a certain tradition.
He is. It's just a different occupation, same Jason Statham. Less dark version of Rambo Last Blood, I would say.
Just to rewind just a little bit. So is the Saw franchise officially dead?
The producers are at an impasse. Listen, it's not going to be dead. Eventually, there's too much money to be made, and someone will figure out a way to make another film. Will it be while Tobin Bell is alive, or interested in doing movies anymore? That's an open question. It's a real shame. X was brilliant. It was the best film in the series, in my opinion. If that's the last thing we get, I guess it's great to go out on a high point. But I also feel like they finally kind of canned the formula to a place where everyone was kind of happy. Like, there's people who say, I only like the first 3 movies. And then there's the people who love the middle installments and kind of feel like the first film is kind of a drag. And I don't think it's quite a drag, but I definitely prefer the second. The second film is way improvement to me. But X was awesome. I'd love to see 11 happen, 11 and 12, but
more Hoffman.
Yeah, and they're in 2 though. Like, the longer this goes on, you do get to the problem. People are already complaining that, heaven forbid Shawnee Smith doesn't look like she did 15 years ago. Well, no one looks like they did when the series began, and it's just going to be even more and more of a complaint if they wait any longer.
Smith still looks beautiful, in my opinion.
She does.
Mm-hmm. I have a problem with that complaint about that character anyway, because that character has always worn bad wigs. So she's a freaking addict. She wears bad wigs. That's kind of the character. I think if you're showing up to a Saw film for the fashion I think we need to talk anyway. But I mean, if anyone out there has seriously just gave up on the Saw films a long time ago, at some point you may want to take another role with them outside the heat of getting them one every Halloween. These things all get overwhelming. We don't remember it now, but the general horror fan base got really tired of Friday the 13th in the 80s. To the point, if you pick up a issue of Fangoria back in 87 or 88, the letters and there's a letter in every issue to complain about we don't want more Friday the 13th. Now today, people think it was the golden age of Friday the 13th, but in the heat of the moment, when you're getting a lot of a thing, it's not the best time to judge it.
Yeah.
Unless it's a Jaws sequel.
Or Blumhouse.
Well, Blumhouse is done. I mean, oh God. Every time I see a Blumhouse trailer, I'm just like, oh God. The elevator pitch was made into a full-length film without any changes.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, if Forever 21 can go bankrupt, at some point we won't have any more Blumhouse movies. So that gives me hope.
They're going to buy the rights to Minecraft and live forever.
Oh, God. Another Minecraft.
Yeah, we can't get a Saw 11, which will cost, $20 million to make, but we're going to get Minecraft films to the end of time.
Isn't Bloom moving towards versus movies now? Or I've heard that rumor. They're going to combine just a lot of different properties.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
We're going to get Ma versus Megan. Octavia Spencer is just going to be fucking Megan up.
Well, I mean, they're counting on a lot of things. There's another Five Nights at Freddy's thing coming, which they're assuming will have just as much interest. I don't know if that's true.
I think it might. Honestly, I mean, there was a lot of enthusiasm for that last movie.
There was. I don't think there was a lot of satisfaction, though.
Be interesting. I don't know. Like, see, I thought they waited a little too long to make the Minecraft movie, but
clearly not, right?
Yeah, I mean, goddamn, I guess not. Like, the enthusiasm is still there.
Plus, it's also probably itching the nostalgia. They're scratching the nostalgia itch for some of those kids that started playing Minecraft a long time ago and are now, like late teens, early 20s or something like that. Yeah. Which honestly makes me feel incredibly old.
Oh, just wait, it gets worse.
I know.
Promise.
I know.
I don't think Lorne played Minecraft a day in his life. So.
No.
I mean, I'm just still salty over the fact that it's like, okay, you got a Five Nights at Freddy's movie finally, and it was serviceable enough that the fans didn't complain, and I'm sure it made a profit to the point where they're talking about a sequel. But then you guys fumbled the fuck out of Slender Man, which is literally the creepiest fucking property, and you're just like, whoops.
Also waited too long. That one was bizarre because you made that 4 or 5 years earlier. I think that would have made a shit ton of money.
Well, to be fair, I don't remember when the big craze of Slender Man hit, but I was, because there was Marble Hornets, and I can't think of when that series came out, but I believe I was still watching the newer episodes of that one when it was 2012, because I started watching the Slender Man Let's Play, the Let's Plays around that time, and I would creep myself out, and it was really fun. So it's yeah, but I don't know if you could make a Slender Man movie with a 2-year turnaround time, because it came out in 2018.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I recommend the most to fans of that whole thing was the doc they did with the kid that murdered her friend, I believe, maybe a couple friends.
Well, she didn't kill the friend. She just stabbed her, but they the two friends stabbed their other friend a whole bunch of times, but she lived, so.
Oh, okay. I thought okay. Very interesting, because seemed to still be in that delusion. So that's probably about as interesting as it gets for Slender Man on screen. I will say, on the topic of Five Nights at Freddy's, there is a knockoff of that called Freddy's Fridays, and it has Cenobite furries in it. So
I'm sorry, where can I find this? Also, that sounds like Willy's Wonderland.
Sounds like an Asylum production.
That one I don't believe was Asylum. I'd have to double check, but yeah, Freddy's Fridays. They like summon them. They're basically Cenobite furries. So
Okay, I have to seek that out.
I'm not saying it. Okay, yeah. Cenobite furries is all I'm saying about it.
I don't know if there's anywhere left to go once the words Cenobite furries has been spoken 3 times.
Good news, it's on Tubi.
There you go. Of course,
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Yep. I really just want it to be a Tubi original.
It might as well be.
It's the kind of film that makes you happy to see the same 30-second commercial 3 times in a row.
Why the fuck is there a Mary Had a Little Lamb horror movie? God damn you guys.
There is. And it's probably on par with Freddy's Fridays.
All right, guys.
Tubi.
All right, guys. So this concludes the 11th episode of Region Free. We got 2 more to go this season, and there's lots of thrills and spills awaiting you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we're anticipating some special guests in the coming episodes as we close out the season, so you definitely want to check us out. If you haven't subscribed and done all that stuff with bells and whatever the fuck people say, please do it. We could use your help. Channel does continue to grow, and we appreciate that. We are getting new ears. We're getting new comments from people. So we do appreciate all your time that you spend with us. If there is anything you want us to talk about, you should always scream it out in the comments under the current video. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll be assholes and ignore it. You never know. But that's where we stand right now. Any final words, guys?
Full Moon Con.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thankfully, Steve won't be there.
No Steve.
No Steve.
I will be.
I will. Internal log 0613-2024. The ship is a twisted mass of wreckage on the surface of an unmapped moon outside the boundaries of any charted system. The crew are dead. With any luck, this transmission will be picked up by the YouTube algorithm. And notifications will be sent, but who knows? This is Customer Service Specialist Sam, last survivor of the commercial data mining ship Imperium. Signing off. Good night.